Hello, hello, and welcome back to Password. New build came out. That's convenient. We'll just continue Sal's route since we were doing that. You know how it is. Okay. What happens on day 19? I know it's like the romance day, you know? Everyone's gonna be mad at me on these days. I just know it. Like, I'm sorry, Roswell and Orlando fans, that I chose all of the platonic options so far. Maybe maybe I'll stream the romance versions at some point. Okay. Okay. Rubbing my head and it dawns on me. I had to talk things out with Dean today. Just talk and figure things out between us. The prospect of it made my stomach flip and churn slightly, not really sure how things were going to go. With a sigh, I looked out over the the front lawn and breathed in deep again through my nose. Oh, okay. Sorry, did the door being left open bother both of you as well? Hmm. Man, if you haven't watched like the Haas Path B streams I've been doing, kind of feels weird to see Oswin again. I'll be honest. Not that there was anything specific for me to focus on. I just needed less to worry about, less things to worry me. The machine buzzed to life as it boiled water. I milled beans and and was treated to the fresh scent of coffee. I thought about how Sal tried to cook pancakes. Excuse me. Incredible. And Orlando's reaction too. It brought a smile to my face for a bit as I tried my best to adopt what I'd learned then, even if it wasn't much. If I'd caught his eye, I'd flash him a smile back before turning back to the pancakes, racked with guilt. At some point today, we need to talk about us and if a relationship was if a relationship was happening, or what happened if we had or what exactly it was we had. I wondered if now was a good time, or if it was best to just let it lie until after we'd woken up a bit more. At the very least, had food in our stomachs.
Still, you should have woken me up this morning. It was a little worrying when you weren't in bed. In bed? What do you mean? Something, came up last night. Dave sought me out and ended up spending the night with me.
Yeah, just Tyson things. Don't word it that way, Dave. You know.
I don't know.
What's wrong, Dean? Jealous?
A little. But I get Sal doesn't have his usual sleeping companion, so I guess it's fine.
I flashed Dean a quick smile before shooting a concerned look at Sal. He didn't look at me, or anyone else really. Just kept his eyes averted, as Dean's comment left unanswered. Oh yeah, that whole shenanigans. Yeah, okay. Okay, I remember that. Thanatos almost seemed offended that I had asked but didn't clarify at first. Almost seeming to think it over. I'm sorry, Thanatos. I'm skipping all your lines. You're a good boy. You're cute. I like you. You need to talk to Dean about something serious.
No, brother. Not this conversation again.
You know about it?
If it's the one I'm thinking of, then yeah, I know about it.
Does it go well?
About as well as you all, as you can expect from what I remember of it. Or what I remember being told of it anyway.
Then, any advice?
No, I rightfully don't care how it goes either.
Well, thanks.
It doesn't end up with a password in the vault, so none of my business.
Oh, it's Roswell. Oh, but before you go, have you seen Dean?
Dean? Did you want to talk to Dean? Why did you want to talk to Dean?
Just, there's something I need to talk to him about.
Something good? Bad?
Just a talk. Probably going to be bad given how I am with talking in words. Roswell nodded slowly, scratching his chin.
So, it's a serious conversation. What about?
Just where the two of us stand. If we're dating or whatever. Especially now, given everything... especially now, given everything going on.
Ah, well, good luck. That's not going to be an easy conversation to have.
No kidding. I looked him over. He looked me over, instead of going into whatever it was he was about to say, and sat down on some potted soil.
Something on your mind?
A little, or a lot. Yeah, it's just, it's stuff.
Want to talk about it?
Yeah, I both want and need to talk about it. Stuff's just... I sat down awkwardly next to Dean and started messing with my hands, not sure how to start.
Stuff is just... what?
Complicated.
I think I'm going to need more to go off than just that, Dave. What's wrong?
I don't know how to say it, Dean. It's hard.
That bad?
It's not about it being good or bad, just, I don't know.
Well, if it makes it easier, I have something in the works that you might like.
What's that?
It's just a little private time for the both of us. Though, thought it about time that we did something nice.
What do you mean?
A date? Well, more like dinner, but given everything that's been happening of late, I figured it might be something to cheer you up.
The moment he'd said it, my heart sank. I felt guilty, a little ashamed, and nauseous all at once. From the corner of my eye, I could see Dean's eyes shoot open in concern, but he stayed quiet. Great.
That doesn't look like the face of someone who's glad to hear that. Did I say something wrong?
No.
Then what's wrong? What happened?
Dean, I don't think going on a date is a good idea anymore.
Well, shucks. I guess the timing was just that poor, huh?
Not just tonight. I mean it all.
What?
His voice trailed off, and he leaned back away from me. I don't think we should go on a date.
Did I say something wrong?
No, not that.
Did something happen?
No, not really. Just everything going on with seeing people dying, and those people in the forest, in the woods, and bringing up Dad.
But...
Dean, I don't know.
So this past year, were we...
I don't know. Were we?
I don't know. I just thought.
He slumped, staring off in a daze. Dean, I'm so sorry.
No, I'm sorry, I think. I don't know.
I didn't mean for it to be this way. I guess I just. I looked over to Dean, and his eyes were wild, staring at me. I thought I was going to be sick, or that he was going to say or do something to me, but it never came.
All this time.
Please don't hit me. I'm sorry. Already I was flinching as I saw the vague motion of him rearing back. The next sound I hear was the dull thud of something hitting soft nearby.
Don't. Just don't.
Okay.
I can't believe this. I can't. I won't.
Dean,
Say it.
Say what?
Say to my face that you're not interested anymore.
But,
Please, I need to hear it.
Dean, I've never seen him so angry. Or maybe it wasn't anger, but just hurt. I don't want to date you anymore. I'm not interested. He flinched, mouth agape, but stayed quiet. His hand went to his chest, and that's when his eyes pulled away from mine, groaning softly to himself.
Dave.
Yeah?
Get out, please.
His breathing was ragged, and I reached out to him, but all that got me was his free hand batting mine away.
Please.
I get up shakily, stumbling towards the door. As I reached it, I looked behind me to where Dean sat still, deflated, with his hand in his hands. It had been the first time I'd ever had to say that to someone, and it hurt. It made me feel sick. But somewhere deep down, I knew that it was needed to be done. And I left. With a gentle click, I closed the door behind me. My feet felt heavy, and a throbbing in my chest made me clutch at the spot above my heart in an attempt to make it stop. I whined, stumbling over to the stairs and leaning on the railing, unsure of what I should do or feel. Dean was hurt bad, and that was my fault. That's what I thought anyway.
Dave, what's wrong?
A few things, but my chest is hurting bad.
Maybe you should sit down.
He guided me to the stairs and sat me down, putting a hand on my chest and watching how I reacted.
Your heart rate doesn't seem too elevated. What were you doing there after breakfast? What were you doing before? After breakfast.
Oh, about that.
What's wrong?
You might want to sit down for this, Sal.
Okay.
He sat down next to me, a hand on my shoulder, and from his tone of voice, something told me that he knew what I was about to say next. I just got done speaking with Dean about, you know.
You, just now?
Yeah, in the greenhouse. I figured that it was better done sooner rather than later, especially after you asked me to talk to him. Right?
Right, yes. I did ask that, didn't I?
Was I not supposed to?
It's not that. Just, are you okay?
I feel terrible. My chest hurts. I feel so guilty for how he reacted. It's just... It feels so unfair.
He took it badly.
Yeah. I could feel Sal tense up next to me, and one look at his face told me he was conflicted. While he was normally quiet, I felt this time was because he was at a loss for words. Sal, how are you feeling right now?
I'm doing okay.
Really? Are you sure?
May I be honest?
Yeah, of course.
I didn't want this to come across as picking sides, but...
It's okay. I know. Dean's your best friend, and he could probably use you more than I could right now.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he didn't take it well.
Alright. But when I'm done, I'll be right back to check in on you. This conversation isn't over.
I sent him off with a smile, but the moment he left out the back, I broke down and started to cry. Not hard, or all that much, but enough that I felt the dampness in my cheeks and rushed upstairs to isolate before anyone else could come by. I huddled on my bed in the dark, unsure of how to process what I was feeling. The less people that knew, the better, or at least that's what I assumed. In reality, I knew I was just delaying the inevitable. No doubt the others will find out anyway. But I wondered if someone was going to come by and check in on me anyway. Someone had to have noticed that I was missing the longer it went with Dean being upset. I hope it's Tyson. The hours ticked by and no one came by, and I felt cold just waiting. As I went to get under the covers, I heard a light knocking on my door.
Sorry, should I come back?
Normally sleeping in my underwear made me not realize at first what was... Normally sleeping in my underwear made me not realize at first at what level of undress Sal was seeing me in. But I quickly fumbled for my pants, half falling over in the process of putting them on.
I should not have entered without waiting. Sorry.
No, it's fine. What's up?
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm great. Super great. Just the best, really.
Dave, you've been crying. It's all right to not be okay.
With my pants on, and I sat down on the side of the bed, and Sal followed suit. How's Dean?
How honest did you want me to be?
Honest?
He's a mess. An emotional bear-sized mess. It's really quite ridiculous, but I do like how passionate he is with his emotions.
Oh.
He'll be fine.
You think so?
I promise. He might kick up a fuss, but he's just a real soft person. Like you.
How does that translate to being okay?
You're okay, aren't you?
Excuse me. I wasn't sure if he was catching me in my lie or trying to make me feel better. The longer I didn't respond, the more the state of it, his that stare of his wavered.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I think be a little soft too on the inside.
That's not a bad. That's not a bad. Yeah, that's not a bad, is it? Huh. Okay. To be a little. To be at least a little bit soft on the inside.
When I was talking to Dean, I wondered why I wasn't as upset as he was. Why I just couldn't. What's the word here?
I don't know.
I don't know if this is the word. Just this feeling. I wanted to help. I wanted to empathize. I wanted to be there for my friend, but I just couldn't. As if I was closed off inside about it.
Oh, well, I know that feeling.
I know you do. I know you do very well, Dave. Do you remember how I mentioned that it was nice having someone that understood the kind of loss we both experienced? It's similar to that.
Death, you mean?
Right. Death. Death comes close, but it's not the same.
How does it come close?
It's not really my place to say, but someone really does. Someone really close to Dean once attempted suicide.
Wait, what?
Sorry, maybe this was a bit too much for me to say, but it's not the same as actively losing someone. People can get better. You can recover, to whatever extent is possible, but once someone is dead, it sends waves through everyone around them.
Like when Dad died.
But you recovered. Maybe not entirely, but enough. You were able to talk about it. You have Tyson, you have us. It's progress.
And you? You recovered, right?
Not entirely, but yes, I sought help. Because I couldn't recover alone. There's no shame in admitting that, what you can't fix. What's wrong with, yourself. Sometimes.
Like when you go to the dentist?
Something like that. There's no shame in admitting when you're not capable of fixing a problem.
Is helping Dean one of those things?
I'd say so. He'll be fine, eventually. Neither you or I are the person he needs right now.
Who does he need then? Orlando? Haas?
I'd say Tyson is the closest match. But with how he's been lately, that might just be asking for trouble.
Where does that leave us then? How did you leave Dean?
I was a little harsh, admittedly, but he got angry and wanted to throw some punches. I told him to take it out on the potting soil or chop down a tree.
He didn't hit you, did he?
I'm sure he would have liked to, but he didn't. If he did, he would have felt awful about it after the fact and apologized, so that's something.
Friends shouldn't hit friends.
I'm going to choose to ignore the unique dynamic you and Tyson have when you say that.
Right.
Is there anything I can do to help you though? Did you want to talk about what happened?
I guess it's just guilt, maybe. He reacted so,
The word you're looking for is visceral. Visceral. Yes, I got it.
Sure, he was that. It was a little scary, but also I felt bad that I was the reason.
For starters, you're not the reason. You might not have helped, but you're not the reason.
Rude?
No, I mean it. These issues are rooted deep in Dean's core. You being, in the same place, you were in your life, and Dean is just, wasn't capable.
We were doomed from the start?
It's, I describe it more as an uphill battle. If this discussion between you two happened earlier, it might not have been too bad. Later, and, well...
It could have been worse.
I'd like to stress that, though. It was only a possibility. I feel having the conversation is better than not having it whatsoever.
I guess you're right. It sure does suck in the short term, though, huh?
Yes, I imagine so.
You're sure he's going to be okay?
If you ask me again, I'm just going to tell you to ask him yourself, Dave.
Right. Sorry. Excuse me. I sighed, scratching my neck. It kinda sucked, though.
So you said.
Not about that. Just you going to go make sure he's okay. Like, I understood why it happened, but I've just been here by myself waiting. No one came looking. No one stopped by. I felt isolated, abandoned maybe.
I didn't know.
How could you? You left me when I said Dean needed you more. And I still think that's true, but I just wish I had someone.
Dave, you could have sought help somewhere elsewhere. If you, don't ask for help, how will people know what's wrong?
I just assumed that someone would notice me missing, or ask how I was when Dean was discovered.
You do know it was just me and him out there, yes? No one else came by to even question what had transpired.
Oh.
I don't mean to make you feel less important, but not everything revolves around you. Sometimes, when you want help, you have to ask for it.
Is it too late to ask for it now?
Of course not.
He puts an arm around my shoulder and brought me in close, hugging me from the side.
Was there anything you wanted me to do to cheer you up?
I don't really have any ideas.
Would you like to have something sweet and do an activity?
What sort of activity did you have in mind?
We could play a board game or watch some television. We could quietly read or do some coloring too.
Let's start with a snack, and then go from there. After I was completely dressed, Sal led the way down to the kitchen. When we hit the foyer, we both paused to look. Excuse me. To look towards the back door, but maybe not attempt to move towards it, knowing who was out there, but not knowing how he was feeling.
This normally helps cheer Orlando and myself up when we're feeling down.
Having something sweet?
So long as it's in moderation. Fresh watermelon is my favorite. Favorite. As long as the weather is nice.
Man, I like fresh watermelon too. God damn it, Sal. I'm supposed to simp for Tyson. There's supposed to be no one else. but you're big and cute. And if it isn't?
Times like that is where I'd be ordering a hot chocolate while out with Dean.
Almost makes me wonder what Roswell would go for.
Because...
Well, he's always eating sweet things, right? So if that's his baseline, what does he go for?
That is a good point. Maybe it'd be worth asking sometime. That leaves you, however.
Me? As in what I'd like?
Unless you're happy with some strawberry ice cream.
I like strawberry ice cream. It's okay. It's not my favorite. I'm more of a mint chocolate chip kind of a guy. Well, just mint. I'm pretty sure I've clarified that before, but it's like, I like mint ice cream, but like everywhere fucking has mint chocolate chip, even though I'm not the biggest fan of chocolate chips. If it's there, I'm not gonna spit them out. But like, I'm there for the mint ice cream, not for the chocolate. I mean, I am, I guess. I mean, I am, but I guess I'm not that picky.
That's a lie.
What do you mean?
Jelly beans. You like jelly beans.
Oh, yeah, but not...
Pear-flavored ones, I know.
But how?
Tyson.
Huh? Well, yeah, I guess that makes sense that he'd know.
He also said you were allergic to the blueberry ones.
Oh, no, I'm not allergic. They just make my tongue feel funny.
That sounds an awful lot like an allergic reaction.
It's not, I promise.
In light of not having any specific jelly beans, is ice cream fine?
Oh, yes. When would Tyson have told that to Sal? Do they just have discussions on like... Okay. Oh, yes.
Just a moment then. There should be some left over from the last time it was used.
Oh? I watched as he wandered over to the freezer and pulled out a tub, opening it and looking inside.
There's enough. But after this, there's none left.
Really? I don't think we'd go through a whole tub given... Well, we would have gone through it faster if everyone was eating it, right?
I may have been sneaking a spoonful here or there, just when I needed a little pick-me-up.
He wanders over to retrieve 2 spoons, and then held the tub out for me to take. And following that, a spoon while he held onto the second one. Okay.
Go ahead. It's good.
Taking a peek into the tub, I saw that there wasn't a whole lot left, but took my spoon and took a rationed out among to have a taste.
I feel things are going to get more complicated in the coming days, so small blessings like this are going to be all the more important.
Yeah, you'd consider ice cream a blessing.
A wondrous gift.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
First you give them hope, then you take it away. Not when you say it like that. Still, compared to what you saw happen in the vault, well.
In general?
I mean, about tonight with Tyson.
Right.
I'm sorry, but that's just the thing you've been shown to happen, right?
But I've stopped it, haven't I?
I sure hope so.
He carefully took a small spoonful of the ice cream and put it into his mouth. And I could see him coating his tongue with it before pulling the spoon clean from his mouth. Do you really think things are going to get bad?
They sure aren't great now, Dave. I'm worried that everyone is going to start pointing fingers at one another and fights to break out.
But we're friends. We wouldn't do that, would we?
The longer we're in the mindset that we're trapped on this mountain, then it's an increasing risk.
He sighed, sitting down next to me, while I went for another spoonful of ice cream.
If I had to guess, Tyson's going to potentially break first.
Oh no, don't tell me that.
Followed by Dean, if only because because of Roswell riling people up.
You think he'd do that on purpose?
I think he does it sometimes without realizing it. Granted, I think he does enjoy getting a rise out of certain people.
So we tell him to stop.
That would then leave Orlando potentially, but a lot of that is up to his father being around.
So we tell them both to stop.
A nice thought, but not that simple. When tensions are high, people just change. Surely you remember, don't you?
You mean when
I dangled you over the pool, yes.
Right.
Fear, anxiety, stress, all of these things can radically affect someone when things hit a fever pitch.
So how do we deal with that?
I'm not entirely sure. If there was a way, then, well, it escapes me. I try and just keep a level head, but that's not going to work for a whole group.
He looks me over, a slight tilt to his head, as he chooses his words carefully.
Truthfully, I worry how long you're going to last as well.
You don't think I'm going to last very long?
Mentally, the worst case scenario is going to be very taxing. I dare say the fight or flight response is going to be triggered in some people.
Oh man, just take out that gun, shoot yourself in the head, burn your bread. It's all good. Sal, you're kinda scaring me a little. You really think things are going to get that bad? The month is almost over. Then we're in the clear, right?
Sorry, I'm not entirely convinced that's going to be the case.
Not even a little?
Trust me, I would like that to be the case. I really do. But with what we know of who's in the woods, the circumstances surrounding this mansion, and who was in it.
And that Dad was here.
Almost seems too calculated, doesn't it? Planned, I mean.
Well, yeah. Roswell organized it with his parents, didn't he?
Not what I meant, unless you're accusing Roswell to be the reason we're in the situation we're in.
Yes, I am. But he literally set up this vacation.
Not exactly what I meant.
He wandered over to the sink to wash his spoon, and I joined him, setting aside the now empty ice cream tub.
Are you feeling better now?
A little. That was some nice ice cream, but it's a shame there's none left.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I'm not dying. I swear.
You seemed like you needed it.
What are you going to do when you need something to pick you up now, though?
I'll manage somehow.
Sal, you don't have to tackle things alone. Rich coming from me, but...
You're getting better at it, and you're right. Would I be able to impose upon you, for, say, a hug, when things are starting to get to me?
Did you want one now? I gesture with my arms wide, and he steps forward, patting me lightly on the head.
Right now, I'm doing okay. Thank you.
Sure, well,
What are you planning to do now?
honestly, I don't know. I feel kinda unsure how things with Dean is going to play out. Should I talk to Orlando about it? Should I go check in with Dean?
Leave Dean alone.
Sorry.
Talking with Orlando might be equally volatile.
What about you, then? What are your plans?
I was going to see Dean. I was going to see if Dean is doing all right, but I'd rather not deal with him right now.
Harsh?
Maybe, but he'd do well with some time alone to sort out his feelings. Probably for the best that he doesn't have access to a working phone at the moment.
Really? He he wouldn't want to call home?
I feel like he'd desperately want to try and call someone, but not for the right reasons.
Who?
His ex, potentially. If he could ever find out the phone number.
And that's a bad because...
Dean is in a very vulnerable emotional state right now. The last thing he needs is to be putting himself in even more dangerous situations by dredging up his emotional baggage.
I don't think I really understand. Is this a relationship thing?
In a sense. Made worse because it's a romantic relationship. But I imagine most relationships have the potential to become this ugly.
Okay.
Would you like to go play a board game? I feel a little out of it, out of my depth answering these questions.
Sal led the way to the rec room, without really giving me another option but to follow. He'd forcibly ended the conversation, but it was probably for the best. I had enough to think about as it was already. I sat down at the table and watched as he rummaged for a game. There were a few he pulled out, examined, and put back, seemingly unsatisfied before bringing over a single box.
This one.
What did you pick?
Scramble.
How do we play?
You've never played it before.
I can't say I have. A lot of games we played at home were pretty gimmicky. This looks like a game for smart people.
You're plenty smart, Dave.
I wish. If Tyson weren't here, I'm pretty sure I'd be the dumbest person. Why would you say that? I'd be the dumbest one here. Even then, there's stuff Tyson knows that I don't.
I wouldn't put yourself down so readily. We all have our areas of expertise. You've seen me cooking, after all.
That's true. I guess I never thought about it that way.
Would you like to play something else? I'd like something that we could both enjoy, not something that's going to make you feel dumb.
No, we can try at least. If it doesn't work out, it's not as if we can't just try something else, right?
Right.
We sat down and placed the box between us, setting things up. You never really explained what kind of game this is.
Right. You're going to have tiles with letters on them, and you have to make words.
Sounds easy enough.
But you have to place your tile down so that they connect to words I make. and where you place your tiles will determine how much you score.
Okay.
Excuse me. You've done a crossword before, yes. Consider us making one together, almost.
Oh, sure, that's not so bad.
Just without the clues. Just have to complete the board.
Can we make up clues later?
If you want.
You don't think it'll be fun? We don't have to if you're not into it.
Just the first time someone wanted to actually make a crossword of a finished board. Granted, you haven't seen how the game plays yet, so...
He jostled a bag in front of me, and I reached it, pulling out some tiles. When I didn't have enough to start, he gestured for me to continue, then did the same after we were ready to go. Okay, I'm sorry, but I have to comment about a Scrabble thing. An anime Scrabble thing, right? I'm sorry. But, like, have any of you ever watched the third Pokemon movie? The one with, like, Entei and the Unknown, you know? That one? So I really hate how... this is relevant, I swear. And it's interesting if you've only ever watched it dubbed. But the first 3 Pokemon films, the English dub crops the movie. So in Japanese, the film is in widescreen, but in the English dub, they crop the film to full screen. So they, like, cut off the sides of the movie. And that kind of frustrates me, because there's a scene in the third Pokemon movie where the girl is using the unknown tiles to spell out words. But because the movie is cropped, you can't see what she's writing. And so the line of dialogue in that scene is, they're together now. But you have no context for that word, like what that line of dialogue, because the film is cropped. You can't see what she wrote. But what she wrote with the unknown tiles was Mama and Papa, like, crossed over each other, like with the Scrabble tiles. It's a really cute scene, but it loses all impact in the dub because you can't actually see what she's spelling. I'm sorry. The Pokemon film dubs are terrible, and they do shit like that. It's real annoying.
Would you like to go first, or should I go?
You can? Looking down at his tiles, he quickly puts something on the board and pulls more tiles from the bag to replace them.
Now we count up the number, and that's how many points I get. Simple.
Oh, sure. So now I just have to put a word down on the board now? Put a word down on the board now. Okay.
It has to connect to my word somehow, but yes.
We swapped a few times, and Sal's turn finishing a lot quicker than mine. Not that he said anything of it, or urged me to speed up, but it was clear that he was much better at this. You're really good at it, you know. This is probably a game better played with Roswell.
Perhaps, but I wanted to play it with you.
Well, I'm having fun, I think. It's just hard to think of words.
I spent some time reading a dictionary. I'm not even sure if it was for fun or not anymore. But that's where a lot of these words are coming from.
Before the vacation, you didn't really talk much.
I didn't really have much to say. You can do a lot of damage with words, so I'd rather not run the risk of saying the wrong thing. This also assumes people listen in the first place.
What do you mean?
Finding someone that can listen to your troubles and try and to understand you is difficult sometimes.
It doesn't seem so hard, right?
In theory, no. But in practice, it's harder. We have so many things that make us work as people. and not all of them can easily be understood, depending on personal experience.
Nodding slowly, I thought back to the ways I was able to understand Tyson, and the ways I didn't. Most of the things that I now understand was because he showed me things to my face that helped me understand. But by comparison, I thought about Haas, and the things he showed me didn't help me at all to understand him better anyway.
There's no difference. Seeing how you break down, and your father made me understand just how you bottle things up until your emotional dam bursts. It shows me that you put a lot of trust in Tyson for him to tell the story on your behalf.
Sal places more tiles down on the board, pausing before he wrote down the score.
It also told me that you have a lot of faith in us to come to us with the story, regardless of the circumstances.
But that was after I run into Jack in the woods.
And you were emotionally vulnerable, and you felt comfortable telling us as a group rather than pulling us aside individually, or even getting Tyson to relay it for you. Part of me wishes I could be the same, but it was so long that so long ago that wound was. But it was so long ago that wound has, for the most part, just left a scar.
You mean with your sister?
Nabi, yes. It's not worth bringing up for the most part. There's rarely a time to bring it up either.
Did you want to talk about it now?
What? Right now?
Only if you wanted to talk about it. We don't have to.
You don't need to hear these kind of things, Dave. Though, I appreciate the gesture.
Is it really that bad?
It's difficult. After she died, her body was sold for medical research, and that sent my parents down a very greedy road to see how much they could get by subjecting me to various other medical trials.
I remember.
A cruel twist of fate would have it that Oswin was the one that made the original offer. But I'm not angry at him so much.
Wait, so you confirmed it?
Not explicitly, though I imagine he's just playing his cards close to his chest.
Did you do anything to him?
There was no need for revenge. I realized that.
That's a motive for the other routes. Wait. If Osmond doesn't reveal himself in front of everyone in Route B, right? In Path B? Okay.
I probably only lasted through the medical trials my parents put me through because of my blood. One in particular was pretty bad.
Bad? In what way?
I was the only one that survived. Some drug test or something.
Oh.
You don't sound too shocked, as if you've heard this story before.
Well, maybe.
Dave.
Osmond told me.
I should have assumed. But the payout my parents got lasted for quite some time. They were still splurging when I split from the family and sought independence.
Then what happened next?
I was young, so I got work where I could, studied when I could, and took my high school equivalency test just so I could say that I graduated.
So you missed a lot of school?
A lot of the typical school stories you heard about, and probably have lived through, I haven't experienced. But I'm here now. I'm happy enough.
Well, that's good.
Realistically, I should have escaped sooner if I had anyone I could have escaped to. A common point Orlando and I share in our undeserved loyalty to our blood family. Family.
So, wait, so you still...
No, not anymore. I'm further along than where Orlando is. He still needs to, well, he'll get there eventually.
When did you meet Dean along the way, among all this? Because, like, it wasn't during school, obviously.
Bowling. Just an activity we were both doing one night and started conversing. He's very quick to make friends, so I'm sure you are aware, given what I know of your first meeting with him.
Oh, right. Yeah, it was a coffee shop for me, though.
He's a good friend, a little dense, but very well-meaning. I appreciate that. Appreciate the joy he brings into my life, even for the trouble he brings with it comes too.
I snickered quietly to myself before looking at my letter tiles, fumbling with a word and placing it down on the board. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring him up.
No, it's okay. Dean and I are still friends, hopefully. It's just a mess.
A mess is a good way to describe a lot of things of late, huh?
Yeah.
Dean mentioned that he was planning on planning a date tonight. Dinner.
You probably know more than I do at this point.
It puts some context into why Orlando didn't want myself, Haas, or Roswell in that area of the house tonight. It makes sense as to why he'd ask Orlando too.
Because he's a cook?
Because he's gay. Dean is a little like me, I suppose. We like what we like, although I imagine he'd have an answer specifically for himself.
Sal put the rest of his tiles onto the board and lazily updated his score, setting his pen down.
Would you like to do some coloring now?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
Did you want to?
I'd like to keep spending time together, if you're willing.
Well, sure. It's not like I have anything else going on.
It's a shame things have panned out the way that they have, Dave. Outside of spending what time I have with you, there's been this air of loneliness about this place.
You've been lonely?
In a sense. I feel as though we should do something as a group again. Something to bond over that isn't such.
Whoops.
To bond over that isn't doom and gloom.
I'm going to cut my tongue on this cough drop. Like, oh my god, it's so sharp in my mouth. It'd be nice, but...
We're out of ice cream, Dave. This would be something to replace that, maybe.
Oh, well,
We'll find time soon. Even if, I have to arrange it. Movie night was the only big group thing we did in a positive light, and that doesn't sit right with me.
Is there any way I can help? I could, try and make snacks.
I'd like that. I'd like that.
Smile. His smile soon faded, and he nodded quietly as he got up.
Before we do anything else, I'm still worried about Dean, and I want to check in. Is that alright?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Sorry. I just want to make sure.
No, not a problem. Really, I'll wait here. He nodded quickly and left just as I can't read. Oh my god. I nodded quickly and left just as much so. Okay. Leaving me to pack up the game and put it away. Collapsing into one of the beanbags, I wondered how long Sal would be. and to a lesser extent, how Dean was holding up.
Dave!
Huh? Oh, hey, Orlando. He dropped down next to me, spreading out and drumming his fingers against his chest.
So, we should talk.
We should? Man, this guy, I was really hoping this wouldn't be as long as it was. I should probably end the part here. I'll see you around, everyone.